Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Denise Peterson, your intentional life change expert. I welcome you to joining me today for this masterclass on how to design an extraordinary life for your third act. Now, we'll explain more about what that means, but right now, get comfortable, settle in for a little bit, and let's have a wonderful chat about your future and how I will share with you all the tips and tricks that I have used to design really an exceptional life in my third act, because I moved from unhealthy, unhappy, and uncertain to a whole lot more clarity, confidence, and courage in this stage of life. So again, welcome. And I'm going to share my screen with you now. So talk with you later. Thank you again. I'm so glad you're here. And let's have some fun today, because if there's anything I've heard from you all, let's just make this part of life having a whole lot more fun than we are used to. I'm Denise Peterson, your intentional life change expert. What makes me an expert? Well, life change experience and a good amount of study too. Now, if you hang with me through this presentation, I promise that you will go away with some new insights on how to design an extraordinary third act. Retirement, I don't know what to call this time of life, but it's a different time of life, isn't it? And I want you to have some inspiration from others who have gone down this path and maybe ignite your own vision of a better future. So turn off the distractions just for this time together. Get excited, feel inspired, because even though the world is changing around us, and it did, for our moms and dads too, when they reach this age, you can find a center that will call you to your own heart spark. Now, you're here for a reason. You just are. Now, it might be curiosity, it might be a burning question about life, or you just like learning. Whatever brought you here, you are here for a reason. And at the end of this class, I will show you how I support folks who want to do just what I have done. But for right now, let's clear some energy from the room right now. Relax with me. Take a couple of deep breaths from your belly, and let's release some energies that might hold us back from gaining the most that we can from today. So that deep breath from your belly all the way to the top of your head. So let's talk about gratitude as we've calmed ourselves and we move into that vibration space and are grateful for the good things coming our way, compassion for ourselves and other living things around us, wrapped in a bubble of protection and peace. Gratitude, gratefulness. Just write in the chat what you are grateful for. Oh, thanks for sharing that. Yes, your son called today unexpectedly and you had a good conversation. You got to make some cookies with your grandchildren, even in these days when things are a little different. Our family's family. Oh, you read a wonderful poem. Yeah, inspirational. Thank you for sharing your gratitudes. Now, here's a truth, number one, that I certainly have found. And in my early days of even thinking about retirement, in those first days when you actually are in a different phase of life and you don't quite know what to do, but you're kind of liking it too. I'm a little embarrassed to say that I said to myself, Denise, you've had a good life. And it would be okay if you simply rest, let the sun go down slowly on life. Don't get too involved in anything, just relax or let life melt away into the sunset. Until I finally realized, after doing some healing work, that I still had a whole lot of life to live and I could still become what I might have been. It isn't over until it's over, my friends. Now, what will I share with you today is totally doable, achievable, enjoyable. We are fundamentally creative creatures. Oh, I'm thinking about when you shared about baking. It's kind of fun to use this time in our homes to do some extra experiments with food. And sometimes that creativity, the time to be creative, would get lost in the busyness of our past years. But now, with more time, maybe more resources, we can go back to what sparked a dream and try it out. Look, I'm an ordinary woman who added just a little extra to my life. And you know what? 1 plus 1 wasn't just 2 anymore. It became 10, 20, and beyond. I have full confidence that this can work for you too. Now, truth number 3, clearing the dramas of the past manifests new dreams for the future. A key to making life extraordinary at this stage hinged on the fact that I had unhealthy life habits, beliefs, and perspectives. By clearing the dramas of the past using energy work, I was able to move forward to manifesting new dreams for my future. Leo Tolstoy says that true life is lived when tiny changes occur, one by one, and they all multiply, where that 1 plus 1 equals 10, 20, and 30. But it starts with being gentle with yourself in this time of transition and taking the time to let things show themselves. And it means that you can give them a little time and attention and let the other things go that you don't want. We do have this gift of time now, often, time that lets us both support others and be supported by others. You don't have to go it alone and try to work it out all by yourself. When it was time for me to make that next change into my third act, I received great loving support from my sister-in-law. And I couldn't have done it without our ability to share things that mattered to us, our hopes for the future and our fears of being alone. And I needed her and the numerous other friends who gave me their wisdom and insights. But I reached out to them too. I needed that extra boost, but we need each other. You just don't have to go it alone and try to figure this out by yourself. So this brings me to today. Now, I want to share with others how I went from point A to point, XYZ into an extraordinary life. So please join me in this transformational life change that is our third act. And you can gain strategies to gain your clarity, confidence, and courage, because I'm supporting you to succeed. So how are things going so far? This is what I teach. I teach skills to people to heal their inner wounds. I teach men and women entering their retirement years. Again, the third act, whatever we call it, the skills to heal their inner wounds, the techniques to discern life direction, and the art of living with passion, potential, and purpose, so that you can design extraordinary purpose-filled life in retirement that releases energetic baggage from the past and brings clarity, confidence, and courage to the future. Let's bring our best into this best age yet, so we can all leverage that legacy of love for the planet. Now, I'm going to share with you my journey, because it's never too late. I had some decisions to make, some choices about designing my life going forward, with some familiar paths and some unfamiliar. And even using the word design, I really had never considered that I had choice, that I could design things I could create, a life that was different, that I wanted to live. But this is what I decided through my journey of healing and coming to this next phase with a whole lot more gusto. I decided to live until I don't live anymore. And you know what that means at this age. I just wasn't going to sit on my rocking chair on my porch for the rest of my life and simply let life fade away to the best of my ability. And then I'm going to live with purpose and on purpose. Now, whatever that might mean. And some days it's a big purpose and some days it's a little purpose. But I wouldn't just stop because I hit a certain age. And I want to live with peace. I've known chaos and I've been the beginner of chaos in many situations, but I've known confusion and conflict, and I didn't want that anymore. Now, I also want to live with love. Maybe now a better understanding of love for myself, my fellow humans, and for the planet in a new understanding and appreciation. But I also want to still live in service. Yes, that was a familiar one, but I wanted to continue that, and I still do. Even if it meant something less dramatic, but like spending time in prayer and meditation for world peace, okay, I'll take it. So today, this is my purpose for this stage of life, for however long, as a wellness leader, coach, and speaker, I help men and women in their third act design extraordinary lives, passion, potential, and purpose to move away from feeling bored, lonely, and rudderless into clarity, confidence, and courage. But what I'm most passionate about is helping world conscious women design lives such that they leave a legacy of love for the planet. Now, this is my path. Now, I was working in an arena that I really loved, but it was outside of my area of expertise. And I was aging and getting older. A surprise, surprise. I had the death of a relationship and the death of my last family member. Both threw me for a loop. I didn't recover as quickly because grief accumulates with time if it isn't dealt with. I knew I needed to figure some things out. So I visited a friend who does energy healing and is a counselor. She said to me, "Oh, this energy healing modality is worth 10 sessions of counseling." It was the emotion code. And later, she used what's called the body code system. And I gave it a try, and it released something highly unusual in me. I went home and laughed, and I cried, and I cried, and I laughed. And I wondered, what in the world had this been all about? I went back for another session with her, asked some questions that were really nagging at me, and they were answered from past experiences. And we released some more energies, all totally congruent with what my soul had been whispering to me, but I didn't know it consciously. You know, that 5% of our brain that we use and the 95% of it is unconscious and subconscious. But things do take their time, don't they? As they work themselves out. Then came this question on retirement. Should I keep going, find another job? What should I do? Unequivocally, the spirit said, retire and ask family for help. Oh, I had never done either of those before. I had not asked my family for help, even though I was on my own, divorced, a single mother, a single woman at this stage, though my family was all successfully grown up and happily so. But she said that it was time for me to quit trying to save the world. Now, I was in nonprofit work. That's what we do. But she said, stop that part, at least for now, and work on myself. And the world would save itself, and I could help it by working on my own stuff. a new concept to me in my nonprofit caregiving world that I lived in. This was a surprise to me. And suddenly I found myself home in January, wondering what I was going to do with my life on the one hand. And the other hand, I fully knew that I just wanted to heal. That was step one. That was top priority for me, was heal. Heal from the inside out, heal my body, my soul, my mind, my spirit, my emotions, to find peace and still serve, but maybe in another capacity. I immediately knew that I still wanted to earn money to support myself. I enjoy that. And I also knew that I wanted to understand and do this healing modality that my friend was doing. So I studied, practiced, was mentored, and became certified as a body code practitioner and was able to help several clients until I made other decisions in my life. As you can see from this picture, I moved across, part of my journey has been to move across the planet. This is my adventure. This won't be your adventure necessarily, but it is my adventure to live by the sea on an island in Southeast Asia in the country of Malaysia. I left the snows of North Dakota. Sometimes miss some of that. I had a lovely home. I moved into the picture on the left is at a museum in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, trying on wedding garments of another culture. And then to a picture, I'm eating vegetarian banana leaf lunch at a restaurant in Singapore. And I learned more about what in the world it meant to love myself as I am. Even in my 60s, I had to struggle with this and move forward. Now, back then, this was a process for me, a healing process. I started a meditation practice. I had no idea what I was doing, but I'd heard about Mind Valley and simply Googled something on YouTube and said, I'll try this one. And I did. And I decided to make it a practice that I would keep trying and doing on a daily basis. And I read self-development books from a library. So I knew some great authors like Brene Brown. You might want to write these down. Brene Brown, Eckhart Tolle, Melody Beatty. They helped me confront my codependency tendencies. And I regularly went to the YMCA for water aerobics to stay connected with my body and to start healing my body, and with friends. I spent time learning, meditating, talking, walking, praying, exercising, exploring, and releasing past energies. I started recognizing how many decisions I had made in my life based on fear and not on love. I began listening to my random thoughts. Those thoughts that just flit through your head, and wondering, do I want to keep that thought? Or do I want to say, oh, let that one go, Denise. Don't keep on with that thought. And I got in the car because, you do the meditation, but action is very much part of life still. So as I was exploring kind of on my own vision quest, I got in the car and traveled to different places around the United States to see if that is where I wanted to live. And I'm a mom. I have several children, foster mom. So I'm a grandma to several, and wasn't really sure what to do, but I would travel and I would say, do I want to live by this one? Or do I want to live by this one? And I could have. It would have been okay. But I didn't have any still small voice saying, yeah, this is what you should do. That just wasn't happening. And through my meditation and my quiet times, I was learning to listen. So you're going to see in the picture that I now live on the sea, literally. I'll show you more pictures later. On the sea in a beautiful condo in Southeast Asia. I sold everything, thank you, friends for buying happily. And I came to Malaysia with 3 suitcases and a backpack. literally. And I traveled the United States and I gave this child what he or she, the mementos from her or his life, and things that I just knew were appropriate for them. Um, and each time, and I continued on moving on in my life. And I even thought about living internationally, something that had started years ago in my life. Don't know where that came from, but I had a vision of it. Someday I'm going to walk into this cafe and it will say, here it is. This is what you saw 30 years ago in your thoughts, your dreams, your vision. That still is new to me. But after all of this time and sticking my neck out to ask for help, I became content with whatever should come clear in the future as being my future. Because I was leaving, I was shedding that unhealthy, unhappy, uncertain, and moving much more into contentment with whatever would come. So whether to stay in Fargo, North Dakota, or move on, because no one geography was calling me at that time. I was content, hopeful, at peace regardless. And then last thing on my exploration, I did take a year for this, was an international living boot camp in Phoenix. And I stayed with a friend. You'll meet her later. Now, I had my checklist, had a sense of what I might do, had done all of the research. I knew the info at heart by heart. In fact, was actually a little bored at this boot camp in Phoenix because I had done all the research until I sat in the back of the room and a gentleman named Keith started talking about Malaysia. And my heart did this funny little flip. And I said, what? Oh, come on. I laughed and wondered if this was Keith's magnetic personality. But it happened again when I went to the breakout group. And it happened again at this conference when I was talking to an energy practitioner, an American who happens to live in Mexico. And she said, no, I can feel it too, Denise. We were both wrapped in this bubble of, the tingles that said, you need to go to Malaysia and follow that path. So I was dumbfounded, flabbergasted, surprised beyond surprised. In fact, a little embarrassed because where was Malaysia? Why Malaysia? I'd read about it, but had not seriously considered it. I'd been other places around the globe. But I kept thinking of my Christian roots in the book of Jonah in the whale. And I had this feeling that if I didn't respond to this still, small, persistent voice, I'd get whaled. And then it became natural to go back to North Dakota and start the ball rolling. And everything fell into place. Yes, I certainly worked my tail off and I had family and friends to help. But everything fell into place without my losing the peace I had gained over the past year. And now it's been well over 2 years in Malaysia. It seems like 2 weeks. Do I know why yet? I'm not sure, and I'm not sure it matters to me. But I see answers in small ways. Remember Leah Tolstoy? Small changes. I see answers to my intentions, my meditations, and prayers all around me. But I took care of the inner work I had to do. And if I had not, I'd not be able to really know what mattered to me, know what gives me life and what was life-giving, and to know the difference between making a logical decision and a logic heart decision. That was new to me. Thirdly, trust that there was a higher power working things out along the way in the right time. That I could have been content enough for however long in any decision that was made. That was also new to me. I had that contentment. That I did have to take the next step and the next step. I didn't have to know everything, but I did need to do the next step. And frankly, I had things to let go of. I'm so grateful for that healing time. That mostly I wanted to live a life of love, service, peace, and joy. And that's pretty much it. And now I get to do that within my budget on the sea with all the birds and trees and friends from all over the world and back home, people I love still. And my health is good, good enough. And yes, there are petty annoyances and so on, but life is good. Yet here I am still pinching myself and no, I don't know what tomorrow brings, but I'll take today and that is enough. Now, this is, you're seeing my outward path, and it won't be your path, but I posit that doing that healing work will set you on a surprisingly better path for your third act than you would ever have thought possible. So, this is where we are going today. So, what are people our age concerned about? Oh my goodness, rightfully so. Declining health, loss of Social Security, because I use my Social Security and it helps pay the bills. Outliving our assets, absolutely, it's a concern. Our cognitive decline, no affordable health care. We all need our doctors and our health care. Yet, will these fears define you? Will they determine your day, your week, your life? Or will you have the clarity, confidence, and courage to thrive in your life, regardless of what is happening out there? Now, this is what Paul says, how we'll use our time. Many of us say we have things we want to pursue. Absolutely. Way to go. For some of us, I started the questioning things like, how much time did I want to spend with this friend or that friend? Or maybe this friend didn't have time really because they're busy with families. And what kinds of friends did I want to have? What characteristics would they have? What kinds of hobbies mattered to me? And what hobbies, frankly, did I want to leave behind? Now, travel is important to me. Now, it might not be to you, fine. But more than just travel, you know what? I found that I wanted to live among people who were different from me. And when I look back in my life, because I took some time to look backwards too, I realized I had long ago thought about, hey, what if I spent 3 months in Toronto? Not sure why I picked Toronto, but that was always in my head. And I could just eat up the city and get to know what it felt like, what was Toronto's vibe. And I wanted to replicate that with my grandchildren around the world, whatever it was, a few months here, just living among people. And I want to live among people who are different from me. I wanted to challenge myself. I want to learn, explore, experience new foods, new thoughts, new ways of making bread, new types of cooking techniques. And yes, I still love my grandchildren and they still matter very much, as do my children. But we find that all through these categories, we still need to figure out what is unique to you. What makes you tick? What brightens your day? What makes life fun? And we often ask, so we focus on the do. It's like if we figure out just, oh, what am I going to do? But really, we find that when we do this, that we are in this funk because a good third of us feel a loss of identity when we retire because we're no longer defined by our business cards, our jobs, our family roles. You know, over a quarter of us, in fact, feel life is worse after retirement. Ooh, that doesn't feel good. And again, I'm using retirement here because we don't have this real good term for this next phase of life. Now, if you have a purpose, that seems to be the defining factor here. Only a good quarter of us, again, are unhappy if we don't have that purpose. So what are we going to do about this? These two writers say few people realize that planning for retirement contentment is as important as planning for economic health. I love that word contentment because frankly, I find extraordinary is just as wonderful as contentment and vice versa. Contentment works for me. Now we have 5 pressure points as we age. Time. Oh, you know it. It's not, I mean, we know that time is getting shorter in this body. We might even think that we are done. No more iterations of me. I seem to be able to do that when I was younger. But time has its pressure, doesn't it? I also didn't have that vitality I needed to see that I had a whole new stage of life with its abundance of time, opportunity, and adventure ahead of me. And frankly, then there's health. Do you give in, or do you do what you can to keep healthy, stay well, and manage what you can manage? Family, oh, loving relationships are so essential to our well-being. And that we talk about family and connections, social connections, right up there. They can also hold us back and keep us in our old patterns. In fact, this stage of life can be a great time to reassess what matters to us in this realm. Heal ourselves from the inside out so the outside changes too. That's the part of the mystery and the secret here. As we do the inner work, our outer world changes. Money challenges are very real, or there can be ways to make changes to either grow that abundance while simplifying our lives. But most of this hinges on mindset, and I might call it heart set too. How do we approach this stage of life? With a sense of opportunity and excitement, or dread and giving up? Once we see the possibilities before us, our hearts beat a little faster and our creativity begins to flow and flow. How about instead, let's ask, who do I want to be in my third act? Now, when I was considering moving to Malaysia, it really was a shock to me. Somehow, moving to another country or another part of the United States just would have been less flabbergasting to me. It's the only word I can think of. But my furniture was finding each piece its new home. People would ask me, really, they'd stand in my entryway of my house as things were leaving, and they'd say, "So what will you do in Malaysia?" And at first I was kind of taken aback and a little stumped, because I had come to this profound understanding that my call, my pull, my push to do this particular life change didn't yet include what I would do in the future. But I had enough guidance about what I needed to do to keep moving ahead. You know, that action word? And frankly, I didn't necessarily know, and I didn't really care. I knew enough to get the ball rolling and keep moving ahead. But then came this word trust. That word trust. And I trusted. What I did know was that I wanted to spend more time on becoming a better me, on being more whole, on inner healing that would serve the world with love. And that mattered to me. But what has really impassioned me about our third act imperative as we live our next stage of life with passion, potential, and purpose, and leave a legacy of love for the planet is that we in our third act recognize, release, and repair the negative, unhealthy energies, beliefs, and perspectives that we have accumulated over our lifetimes, so that our families can heal, our communities can heal, and our planet can heal. And I want to be a part of that, regardless of my age, stage of life, or bank account. So for Act 1, that's when we're growing up and we really don't know what we're doing, because it's all about following the rules, birth, childhood, adolescence, and early adulthood. Make things work. Do what you're told. My early days certainly followed the plan, even with meeting my husband in university and then marriage after graduation. That was the pattern. And I lived it, and with happiness, certainly, but still living much like my parents had lived. Again, a good life. Now, Act Two, marriage, maybe children, certainly jobs, income, careers, hockey practice, volleyball, emergency room visits, holidays, and maybe elder care of ailing parents. And we're not really sure what to do with all that we've accumulated over time. But this is a wonderful but exhausting stage of always working and accumulating to keep the bills paid, the kids clothed, and the boss happy, and the community standing. And in the end of that stage, you realize that you're not even sure what to do with it all. Then we come to our third act. Fellow third actors. We get this opportunity of time, maybe some resources, creativity, friendships, and dreams. I'm free to be me. This is that stage that no one really talks about or plans for. It just happens. We know about money because financial planners, analysts, retirement planners tell us how to save money. And we must. Yeah, absolutely, that's important. But are we expected to do just what our parents did? Maybe that would work, or maybe there's a new way to do retirement that suggests, for maybe the first time in life, I am free to be me. And no, not the me of when I was 20 or 40 or 50, but the me right now, a me that still has dreams that I can now pursue because I have the time and resources. Or a me that wants to do that healing work and see what synchronicities and abundance come my way. So, in fact, let's change the trajectory, folks. Let's claim this gift of time to make the world a better place. But first, consider your inner self, your inner voices, your inner callings of your soul to align with who you were created to be at this stage of life, so that you will have that clarity of vision, the confidence of wisdom, and the courage of conviction to step into an extraordinary third act. So now we've come to that third phase of life, retirement, a third act, whatever, that sometimes it isn't full of retirement. Maybe it's part-time or just doing something different. But much of it is about leaving the workforce as we know it, or maybe not. Certainly can keep working, but yet we are in a different stage of life because we can feel it. Now, there are 5 stages to this major life change. The planning time, when it's really exciting to think about, oh, I could do more of this and less of that, and I don't have to report to anybody, and my time is my own. Oh, it's fun. Then it's excitement because no work, just play, no schedules, oh my, exciting days, what freedom. And then there's the honeymoon period. Oh, isn't this delightful? I'm loving this freedom. Then might come this disillusion time. Well, on second thought, I'm actually kind of bored, lonely, and rudderless, and a little anxious too. And you know, I actually experienced that even though I moved to another country. I had to figure out what my new life was going to be about. And I had to come to this reorientation where I figured some things out, and now I can move forward into my new life with more clarity, confidence, and courage. But it took some time. Now we have 3 choices for our retirement life. I love this picture, to be honest. Remember those days when we could pretend things weren't real? We can just close our ears and say, not going to happen to me. I'm not aging. I'm not, any of this isn't changing. Number 2, remember when we say, oh, no, I can't hear you. We'd say to our brothers and sisters, or we just get angry, frustrated, fearful, and want to shut it all out. Or frankly, we can embrace it with great joy and anticipation. Now, this is what I'm going to share with you today, and how I support others to learn this through a course that I will tell you, I'm going to be right up front. I'm telling you about a course that I'm offering starting in a few weeks. that you can learn about today. And this is about how to go to your inner self to release past traumas, explore new ways of being in the world, and design your own extraordinary life with a purpose, potential, and passion for your third act. So we start with, we need that insight into ourselves so we can have a sense of compassion for the child that we were, that grew up in whatever circumstances. Then we move into needing that insight into what makes us tick and what we want to let go of going forward. And then we're now engaged in our own future as we start getting inspired. And that's stage 2 of my program, where we're inspired by our reborn dreams and hopes that are no longer burdened by the weight of past energies, beliefs, or perspectives that no longer serve you. And my third stage of my program is Ignite. We ignite that heart spark that whispers, this is why you show up today, tomorrow, and until you don't in this iteration. So I'm focusing mostly on insight for our discussion today, on clearing the way to a beautiful future. What's your deepest desire? Put it in the chat, would you please? More time with loved ones, freedom and resources to travel, I don't know, making a bigger impact on the world, staying healthy and fit, well, I hope we all do, trying new creative adventures, entrepreneurship, financial pursuits, fun things in different arenas. What is your deepest desire? Oh, thanks for sharing. So, bottom line, I learned that things worked better and were more peaceful, synchronistic, and delightful when I worked in sync with my own energy and that of my higher self. Then my outer world started falling into place. And you heard about that when I told you about my move to Malaysia. When things change inside you, they also change around you. I'd like you to meet Pam. She did everything just right to plan for her retirement. This is what she says. I remember starting my major retirement planning a couple of years before my estimated date. I did all the financial planning, made lists of things to do and volunteer work I might enjoy. I had become a certified coach 5 or 6 years earlier as part of my retirement plan and means of supplementing my retirement income. Oh, she was so excited as it approached. She says, I planned my life to be very similar to my familiar pre-retirement life. I would continue to work with people, volunteer in ways that complemented my career choices in life, and I even moved back to Arizona where I'd lived and worked in the past. And now here's the honeymoon phase. Then there's that honeymoon where everything is just right. I know because I got to share some of those fun times at the swimming pool with Pam. And she said, my first couple of years of retirement were like a vacation. During that time, I put more effort into energy work, spiritual work, and mindfulness. And one thing led to another. I have to say that I am now able to separate myself from my career years in a way I was not able to before in retirement planning. And then came the disillusion time also. I also got to be part of her life when things weren't going quite as she had planned or hoped for. And she says, I realize now that without removing the blockages to a higher energy, spiritual level, that I was incapable of seeing the possibilities for my best possible retirement. I believe other people could also be greatly helped as they include this work into their retirement planning. But I have a secret here. Don't be satisfied with stories, how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth. Rumi said that. Now, this phase we're going through right now is insight. Get insight into your heart and soul to release past traumas and retain healing habits. Recognize, reconnect, release. This is a phase where we recognize ourselves, and sometimes we see ourselves in our wants and desires. Sometimes we see that little girl in us and hear our little voices. And then we reconnect to our inner selves through writing and journaling. And we release what presents itself to be released. I tell you, this stuff works, friends. The next phase around these bubbles is get inspired to let go of the past clutter and move into your third act by trying it on. Test it out, move it forward. What tickles your fancy? What brightens your day? What is new that you can try? What have you tried on and said, oh, no, not that one, maybe never. It was fun then, but not anymore. But what do I want to pick up and run with and move it forward? Hey, Sabine, thanks for joining us. I'd like you to meet Sabine, who has now moved into her 60s, but still as active in pursuing her inner healing and outer purpose as ever. She says, thank you. Working with Denise was a godsend. I mean it. She has an aura of pure source energy if you're willing to work with her. Thank you. Now, the third part, actually the third stage of this, how to design an extraordinary life for your third act, is ignite. Let's put it all together to ignite that heart spark, and it will something that will get you up every day saying, I'm grateful to be alive. What do you want to pursue with real enthusiasm? What holds great potential for your creative energies? What gives your life meaning and purpose amidst your everyday duties and creative endeavors? This is really what you're hearing today is my passion, my potential, and my purpose. I have a special interest in helping world conscious women design extraordinary lives that leave a legacy of love for the planet. I do. I really do. Now, we make mistakes. First one, you don't believe you can have an extraordinary third act. Oh, please stop underestimating yourself. I started off that retirement with my lists, and I'm good at lists, but I didn't believe I could do the changes I wanted to make. In fact, I didn't even know about the emotional blocks from trapped emotions that were inside me and from a lifetime of accumulation. And it came up for me that it was an incident when I was 12 years old, 11, 12, when my grandmother and my mother had a major disagreement, and I felt caught in the middle. And this emotion of wishy-washy, not being able to choose sides, came up. It was immediately pushed from my subconscious self to my conscious self, where I knew that that incident had followed my life actions and relationships. And I knew it, I recognized it, but I could release it. No, sure, I still have the memory, but I don't have the pain that goes with that memory. It freed me and it faded and no longer has the emotional stigma with it. So stop underestimating yourself. Maybe you just don't have clarity of who you are and what you want. Maybe you don't have the confidence to try on new ways of being in the world or the courage to follow your dreams. Now, when we feel rudderless, we feel anxious. We don't know what to do. Bored, that listless feeling of, oh, what am I going to do next? What TV show should I watch now? Lonely can also breed some depression. We know that, feeling depressed. When we have clarity, we start feeling a little intrigued about what if? Oh, wouldn't that be interesting? And then we get some confidence and we start getting involved. And courage means being invigorated to get up today, tomorrow, and the next day with that purpose, whatever that purpose is. Mistake number 2, you don't actually take the time to get insight into your past so you can clear the clutter and live an inspired and ignited future. Now, if you continue to live as your past self, what's going to happen is that you will keep repeating past behaviors. Remember what Pam said? Keep reacting in pain, keep repressing the feelings. You'll keep on living the past into your future. And you can. But what I am proposing today is a secret of releasing past energies, past things that held you down but then reigniting some things from your past that might give you life in this part of life. So let's get some insight into your heart and soul to release those past dramas, recognize, release, reconnect, so the good can flow to you and the good can flow out from you. Now, I've designed something called a vital energy reset practices that will gently guide you into your own healing moments. And when we add these healing elements of energy release, soul meditation, life-giving gratitude, and clear intentionality, and that has a particular meaning that I will explain, you can shed burdens of the past to move forward into a clearer future. This was absolutely essential part of my own journey. Once those stuck energies released, and I still do it, I laughed and cried and laughed, and I felt a lightness of being I had not felt before. As a certified body code practitioner, I have helped hundreds of clients release past traumas, help them find peace and calm, jumpstart their businesses because they're getting that clarity, and they can improve family relationships and move into new directions, all because more good is coming to you and more good coming out from you. Meet Daria. She's obviously not yet in her third act. She's dedicating her career to building the lives of young women through education. But she says she's talking about me, her insights and ideas, she mostly holds back from fixes. Stay with me between sessions. I feel calmer, clearer, more settled, and myself. So what's important in our vital energy reset practices? Foundationally, gratitude. It changes our vibration. This is not rocket science, but there are tips and techniques, and it's absolutely foundational to our path forward. Raising our vibration, because the law of attraction means like attracts like, and we need to take the action also to make the law of attraction work. Raising our vibration, our mindset, and our soul space helps us to recognize our gratitude, simple ones, or profound ones, but it changes the energy of each and every day. I'm a firm believer in forgiveness. I consider it a foundational pillar to our vital energy reset practices to bring us peace, growth, and harmony, and severing the energetic tethers we might have to others. Do you know, when you think of somebody and you have this negative energy between the two of you, I really want to cut that cord and help you cut your cords, so that forgiveness is for you to release those energies. And that's a really foundational thing, along with gratitude. And you have permission to forgive yourself, to loving yourself and loving others. It means self-compassion. Without forgiveness for ourselves, we hold back from loving the world around us. It's an energetic truth, part of the vital energy reset practice. The next pillar is authenticity. The recognition of your esteemed place in the universe. No one else can be the unique expression of the divine that you are. Authenticity is evident when your heart and your head are in alignment, and above else, you are you. Finally, the last pillar of the practice is to be connected to your higher power, your source, God above, your higher self, the many names, but be connected. Meditate, pray, but be connected. Mistake number 3. Now, I grew up with this one. You think you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Simply isn't so. Scientific studies show repeatedly that our bodies can retain their strength and vitality if we give them proper attention, love, and care. Our minds can stay sharp, especially with physical exercise and movement. Stimulation, peace, removing stress will all maintain and even increase your mental acuity. And nothing is more energizing than learning something new. Now, if you don't stop this perspective, your body, mind, and soul will atrophy. They will wither away. Your joie de vivre will melt away. You just don't have that joy of getting up every day. And frankly, your relationships will suffer. How about this? Let's get inspired to let go of the past and move into our third act by trying it on, testing it out, and moving it forward. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Lao Tzu. There is a fountain of youth. Our friend Sophia Loren says, do you remember her? She's still actively involved in movies. There's a fountain of youth. It is your mind, your talents, the creativity you bring to your life, and the lives of people you love. When you learn to tap this source, you will truly have defeated age. Bravo, Sophia. May you be a great example for us. Our next mistake is time is limited. So why bother? Oh, goodness. If you continue this will happen. Frankly, you'll be boring as all get out. You will slip away too early. You will feel your age way before your time. And so often, it's so easy and so comfortable and be so deadly to just keep following the path that you've always followed. You've met Pam here. That was one of her big ahas, that she could keep doing the same old patterns of life exactly the same way in her pre-retirement years and find the happiness she wanted. I remember contemplating moving. She just couldn't do it. She had to change how she approached this stage of life because she wanted to, and she did not want to repeat old patterns. I remember contemplating moving to other areas, but I realized, even a rural area, but instead I wanted to acknowledge that I'm not 30 anymore. Well, thank goodness. But I still might have a 30 fully engaged years ahead of me. What an opportunity to be different and do different, and maybe even better. So it starts with believing that it is possible. I embrace age with positive anticipation. Now, sometimes families can be very supportive and sometimes not. I found that my children reacted to my decision to move to Malaysia in their own way that reflected their perspectives on life. Now, my family planner asked me good questions and questioned my decision. Okay, I appreciated that. My adventurer said, oh, great, we'll come to visit. And they did. And the pragmatist said, oh, well, that sounds like you, Mom. Yeah. Meet Susan, for whom doing this inner work to change her outer life has made a big difference. Working with Denise is absolutely amazing. With her help, I found a way to free myself from the life issues that were weighing me down. Mistake number 5, you don't believe you can still make an impact in the world. This is what you continue to believe. Oh, you'll miss out on all the beautiful gifts still waiting for you to enjoy. You know what? The world will also miss out on all the wonderfulness that is you. And the heart spark that is waiting to ignite will simply stop glowing. I'd like you to meet Rosita. Now, I met Rosita when I was invited, perchance, by happenstance, but synchronicity, by a friend in Kuala Lumpur, which is the capital, like Washington, D.C. in the United States. It's here in Malaysia. And I was to meet her other Malaysian friends at a cultural meal cooked by this remarkable woman. Rosita and her helper had been cooking for days to prepare special Nonya food. And that's like getting your heritage food made by grandma. That's kind of what Nonya means, grandma. Then out came news about this award-winning book Rosita had written, full of recipes, pictures, heritage memories, and more. And it won best in its class by an international organization, Condé Nast. What did Rosita have to say? Oh, I'm just a housewife. I did it for my children, for their memories. But who am I? I came from China to marry a man I didn't know when I was just 18. It was an arranged marriage. And Rosita, now in her 60s, has published her second edition of her cookbook. It is outstanding. Frankly, the world still needs Rosita, and you and me. Our next mistake is we rush into retirement without examining what we really want. Maybe families always made decisions for you or a spouse, and you go along and that works, but then you find you still have dreams and want to experience some things on your bucket list. Life is so much more extraordinary when you get to live your authentic self with the you that is you and the you want to become and can be grateful for becoming. Still be the same things. I want to emphasize that, but do it because you choose and you love it. If you rush into this stage of life, you'll keep holding on to past unhappy memories and emotions. You'll keep flailing about looking for something somewhere, and maybe even keep living someone else's dreams. So let's meet Elise, who came to me feeling burdened, rudderless, and lost. Even though everything on the outside seemed great, she says, I felt I was trapped. I was disconnected with myself. I had everything I needed, but I felt empty inside. Now I feel lighter, happier, and a sense of gratefulness kicked in. If you are like me, are troubled but don't know what happened, want to live your best life with passion, and you don't know what else you can do, please give yourself a chance to work with Denise, a chance to do something good for yourself, because you are worth it and you deserve the best for yourself. Thank you, Elise. Our friend Oprah Winfrey says, purpose is the thread that connects the dots to everything you do that leads you to an extraordinary life. So what is this journey? What am I talking about? We've talked about this, again, it being lonely, bored, and rudderless. And it might be different words for you. It was also, for me, it was unhappy, unhealthy, and uncertain. And I needed that insight. I needed to be inspired to ignite action and get me going in the right direction. And I could do it with clarity, courage, and confidence and courage. Now I've been there myself. I've sat where you've sat. I have developed a whole system for myself and for my clients to move through the stages of insight, inspire, and ignite, and design their own extraordinary lives. By using my vital energy reset practices, you get connected to your younger and deeper self. You start recognizing your past, reconnecting to your dreams and hopes, and releasing past baggage. You are laying the foundation and skills for being a more profound you. With my conscious clarity techniques in our inspire stage, you start sifting the wheat from the chaff. Try on those new ideas, take time to test them out, and then choose. Move forward with your next steps. And then the ignite stage, intentional life change strategies come into play, where we work together to fan that heart spark into full flame of whatever is your passion, your potential and purpose for your very own version and calling of your extraordinary third act. So this is what's going to happen. So what has been some of the best things for you so far? Please write it in the chat. I'd love to hear. Thanks for sharing. You're ready for some change. Yes, you hadn't thought about this before in this way. I get that. We're told about finances, but we're not often told about life and this great opportunity before us. So thanks for sharing. And now that you've seen some of the ways I help men and women in their third act design extraordinary lives, as our friend Jim Carrey says, life opens up opportunities to you, and you either take them or you stay afraid of taking them. If you're excited about what's possible, but let's face facts and look at how it is right now. Here's a reality. If nothing changes and things stay the same, what's the impact on your health, your vitality, your life? If things stay the same, what's the impact on your health, your vitality, your life? When men and women in their third act want to go from bored, lonely, feeling rudderless to some passion, potential, and purpose in this new stage of life, yeah, there are obstacles that come up. What's the number one thing slowing you down right now, holding you back, or stopping you from getting what you want? Now, I'm not talking about outside world stuff. We all have to deal with that. We know that. But what is happening on the inside of you where you can that's stopping you from designing that next stage of life to making it the best stage? So after years of going from the new retiree, wondering what to do with life, and then moving into my own, I can't believe it myself life, this is why I developed this program called Design an Extraordinary Life for Your Third Act. I was sitting right where you are, and I realized I had too much to offer the world to stop now. And it's the same with you. This is all designed to help world conscious women in her third act go from feeling stuck, living in the past with a loneliness, boredom, or feeling rudderless, or that unhappy, unhealthy, uncertain, to finding your clarity, your confidence, and your courage to move into a life with more passion, potential, and purpose. And we all know that we are in challenging times. All the more reason to step up for yourself and for the planet and heal your inner self, because then you heal the world around you. Now, what's happening with her? Maybe she's stuck because she keeps repeating past habits, perspectives, and beliefs that have not served her well in the past, but she doesn't yet know how to release them. You can't heal what you don't acknowledge. If nothing changes and all stays the same, what will you lose? You think maybe that since time is counting down, why bother? Why invest in this part of your life? Why not? Why not make this age the best stage? You have come through so much, my friends, that now is a great time to build on your wisdom, to clean out the past, build on the wisdom, and just take steps forward in courage to help heal the planet around us. Maybe you're stuck because you don't think there's much left to be and do in the next part of life. Yeah, I know how it feels to be unable to move forward. I bet whatever is stopping you from moving forward in your third act is stopping you from doing whatever you want to do in other areas of life too. Got to let that energy flow and get rid of the obstacles. Maybe you're stuck because you think you can't learn anything new or practice new ways of being and doing. Maybe you think you're too old for this. Are you simply stuck, bored, and without purpose? If you're feeling lonely in this endeavor, then look a little further. Start believing in yourself and in the possibilities and potentialities of a new way of life going forward. Now, I'm not here to promote anything today. This is about seeing if this is a right fit for you. That's all. In fact, if you'll write down this discoverycall.com, write it down, save it. I'm not pushy, but you've got nothing to lose because to talk. First of all, I want you to for a right fit interview. Let's find out if we're a right fit. If things click, if we're on the same path, bingo, we're both winners here. This is so good. So I want to invite you to book that call with me today. Book in for a right fit interview. And who is this for? What is the missing piece to this puzzle? Are we a right fit? This might be just the right time in your life to take a step forward into a new way of doing and being in the world. How exciting. Now, this isn't for you. If you're feeling really quite content with life as it is, congratulations. Maybe the honeymoon period is still on. How fun. I loved it. Or maybe you're really not ready to commit the time and attention right now because maybe it's another time. Or you're uncomfortable doing that closet cleaning that I talk about. or energy healing, intentions, affirmations, meditation, and more just are not right for you at this time as skills. Oh, but this is for you if you showed up here. You showed up. You're showing up for yourself. And you feel the nudge, just that still small voice, to make this part of life even more significant, maybe than your earlier days, because you have more freedom of choice and time. You believe it is possible. And if you aren't quite there, but you feel it in your gut that you will, you're ready to release some past burdens, try on new perspectives, and design a vital future. Might be for you. In fact, it is for you. If you're ready to meet other women who are ready for this, just like you. And in fact, you want to live in such a way that you leave a legacy of love for the planet. You're ready to believe that it's never too late to be what you might have been. Now, I don't want you to be that person who doesn't have the resolve to grab an opportunity when it presents itself. Remember what Jim Carrey said? We can grab the opportunity or we can escape into fear. But when things change inside you, they change around you. This is designed to help you release past baggage and move forward into your life. If you're ready to try on new experiences, new perspectives, new ideas, and come from your creativity, then this is designed to help you tap into those deeper dreams and resources, just waiting for your heart spark. Remember, Rosita, if you're a person who wants more out of life, regardless of what's happening out there, then it's designed to help you unwrap a purpose that will help you get up every day and bring out all the passions and potentials that you can create. Now that's me, and that's where I live on my beautiful island of Malaysia. And I love every day getting up to looking at the sea, watching the birds, hearing the voices of the children playing, and going about my day. And I do feel like I have clarity, confidence, and courage because I want my life with gusto and be of service and leave my legacy of love for the planet. We support each other as world conscious women who want better for ourselves, our families, our communities, our planet. Now, are you still on the fence? So what will it take to make the decision to take the next step of booking that call with me? So often, yeah, it might be a version of fear or uncertainty that's holding you back, which means that you may never get your brilliance out there. And I want to see that brilliance of yours shining in the world, not just being dimmed or having a bushel put on it because you have said, I'm too old. I can't do this. Whatever is flitting through your head, I don't want you to remain stuck in that feeling of your own version of unhappy, unhealthy, uncertain, and never have that extraordinary life that you deserve. So then design this first stage one and book your mydiscoverycall.com. I'm not looking for a commitment today. I'm looking forward to talking to you. So today I'm especially talking about stage one, which is insight. In my system for designing an extraordinary third act, I've split it into 3 parts, and I'm offering stage one, which is clearing the way to a beautiful future. Stage 2 is where we really will take out a chunk of time and we're going to talk about the doing. What do you want to do? Where do you want to live? Who do you want for friends? What about family and love relationships? Your intellectual pursuits, your character, your health, all of those things, that's in stage 2. But this is the foundation, is stage 1. Stage 3 is when something has caught that heart spark and you are ready to really talk about how to refine your own legacy of love for the planet. So this is what this is about. Stage 1, clearing the way to a beautiful future. That means finding peace, hope, and contentment you want for this stage of life. And I know I talk about extraordinary, and it doesn't always mean living by a beach or in a cabin in the woods or wild exotic travels, but it does mean finding your center, your peace, your hope, your contentment in whatever life you choose to design. But do be engaged, involved, and enriched in who you choose to be. And then let's design what you choose to do, because we want the obstacles to be gone so the good can flow to you and the good will flow out from you. So this is how it works. Moving through the various systems, including the vital energy reset practices and conscious clarity techniques. In Insight, we do our soul spark, understand how our bodies and souls work as they understand what makes us who we are today. We're going to go back into our life path a little bit. We're going to recognize, oh, now I remember. Remember that little girl? Who was she? What did she like? Oh, what kind of bothered her? Take a trip down memory lane. Reconnect, oh, to our dreams, desires, and destinies. Let's take time to refresh our body, mind, and soul so we can hear that still small voice. Release is a great kick it to the curb. After our lifetimes of work, burdens, and service, let's recognize and release what bubbles up inside us and do the forgiveness work and move forward. Then let's renew. Let's be showered with love. Our own compassion for ourselves oozes out from us into compassion for all living things around us. And then let's revive. Let the fun begin. You've come so far. Who have you decided to be in your third act? What is your mission and vision statement? Your definite major purpose. Now, if you join my course and how I support men and women who do this, you will get all the supports that you need to make this all happen for you. You'll get journals, and you don't even have to complete them all in the 6-week course that I'm offering you, because they're there for you to download and use for yourself, to share with friends. But it's all about becoming your authentic, beautiful self. Figuring out what you want in your future. Affirmations. I will teach all the skills that you need, and we will practice it. And you can embed it into your life, into the person you want to be. And you can revisit it all the time and say, now, is this who I want to be or not? Remember Pam? Well, here's the kind of end, the finale, as she has really changed her focus from disillusioned onto her next stage of her retirement, her third act, which again has many pieces. Well, she's out of disillusionment and she's now onto this activated conscious one. And this is what she says. I feel like a whole new world has opened up for me. I see exciting opportunities to explore and exercise different aspects of myself rather than continuing along my typical way. I'm even thinking of relocating to live an unfulfilled dream of being close to the ocean. Guess what? She did. So write this link down and book your call. I can't wait to hear from you. Bookmydiscoverycall.com. This is what we'll talk about. Release the past, unfold your dreams, design the life of purpose. Isn't that what we want? So book in today for a right fit interview. And whatever your dreams are, help design the life that can make them happen. Release the past, revive your dreams, ignite your future, make this age the best stage, and book in for a right fit interview. Bookmydiscoverycall.com. And this is what I'm opening up in the beginning of the year. 6 weeks of live group clearing and coaching sessions, 6 modules of the online on-demand video course, meditations, affirmations, resources for you to put in your own downloadable file and pull up as you need, and to practice reaffirming to yourself who you are, who you want to be, and what you want to do. Now, I'm offering for the first 5 signups, and I will know who they are, will get a free bonus of a fast action bonus of 1 personal coaching and clearing with me. I can't wait. It is profound, it is deep, and it's surprising. So let us see what your subconscious wants to release so you can heal and be more whole and have energy balance in your own body and in your soul. Plus the 3 big bonus resources. Once again, $9.97 value, 6 live weekly group coaching and clearing sessions. We'll do some teaching, but we'll also do group intentions for each other, and so that we can move into our futures like we'd like to see happen. But we're doing that for each other. And we will always have energy balancing. I will release what the group, what imbalances come up for the group. So it's actually group energy clearing also. Get lifetime access to 6 modules of online training. You can have that. That's a $4.97 value. Another $4.97 value, inspirational and motivational affirmations, meditations, resources, articles too numerous to count, but for your file to be pulled up as you need to develop the new you that you want to be. Again, $200 value, fast action bonus for the first 5 signups, private one-on-one mentoring and energy balancing session with me. Doesn't matter where we live in the world because everything is energy. And once we connect by intention, we are connected. Bonus number 1, the I Am Enough Self-Esteem Journal to build your foundation of love for you. Journaling is such an important part of our healing journey. Bonus number 2, a community support via private messenger group just for our group. Value $197, access to the I Am Enough 10 module video course. And you'll have access to that so you can pull it up when you want to. Again, it includes some journaling and you can share it with friends also. The total value of this package, this stage 1 of clearing the way to a beautiful future, the value is over $24.34, but today I'm offering it for $4.97. You get my personalized attention. You get all my wisdom, my experience, all that I have studied and learned over the past lifetime, and especially the last few years, dedicated to your growth, your success, your moving forward into this new stage of life. So please book in for a right interview today, bookmydiscoverycall.com. This is what you'll find. We'll talk about what's happening in your world. Where do you ultimately want to be? What support do you need to get there? Are we a good fit? Short and sweet, simple. Look, I know that this is probably going through your mind right now. Money, time, priorities, doubts. But just keep in mind what these will feel like to feel a passion for your dreams, a passion for your days, a potential for your future, and that purpose to get you up every day while leaving a legacy of love for the planet. Things need a shift, my friends. Let's be part of that healing legacy. And as our friend Wayne Dyer said, as I unclutter my life, I free myself to answer the callings of my soul. What is your soul calling? That sweet, still voice. I hope it's calling. I hear it. Book in for a right fit interview with Denise. I'm going to call today. Now, this is what you'll see on your screen. Book in for a right fit interview. Choose your time zone first. Okay, choose your time zone. Then the program will automatically figure out what works for me and what works for you. Pick a date and time. I've left many times open. Yes, it doesn't matter our geography. Okay, and then enter your info and click accept. And off we are. I get a message and I will be showing up because I'm trusting that you have the integrity that you will also show up for your call. It's a great time and we get to know each other. So please book in for a right fit interview today. Do you have any burning questions? I am just an email away, Denise at denisepeterson.net. Any questions? Now, I've often been asked if my move was so drastic that it affects my family life. Well, yes and no, of course. I'm known as virtual grandma, but then I would be with some of my grandkids, even if I still lived in the United States and knowing all that's going on. I do get back to the United States as often as I can, just not right now. But I do get to share my adventures with them. And one of my intentions is to expose them to the world conscious part of who I am. And maybe you're asking, well, how will I know if this works? Well, I promise you that this certainly worked for me, and that if you follow the steps, you will be open to whole new vistas that will unfold for you. Is this woo-woo or new age? Kind of. The energy work that I do and will do with the group and one-on-one is proven by scientific principles over and over again recently, and by quantum physics and the guy Einstein that we've heard about. We're just learning more and more about energy and vibrational sciences, vibrational health. And if you're interested in pursuing this, you could read The Field by Lynn McTaggart or The Emotion Code by Dr. Bradley Nelson. We'll give you an idea of what I've studied and learned and practice on a daily basis. Now, this particular class will be starting in about 4 weeks, as I want to make sure that we're ready for making 2021 just the best year we can have as third actors. So this is our aim, our heart's desire, our big idea, our own extraordinary lives in all their glory, whatever that life should be. And we pledge to do the inner work needed to manifest extraordinary lives in our third act. We are world conscious men and women leaving a legacy of love for the planet. And frankly, because my friends, the world still needs us. So thanks for joining me on this journey into an extraordinary third act. I ask you to be in contact with me. Book my discoverycall.com or Denise at denisepeterson.net. And let's just see if we're a right fit. I will send you further information if you'd like. But I do ask you to take a stand for yourself. We're in a stage of life that's different. We don't have the same family obligations, the same work obligations that we did probably. And we have this opportunity before us to build new lives. So take a stand for yourself. Give me a call today. I've had so much fun getting to know you. I hope you enjoyed this. Let's be in touch. This is Denise, your intentional life change expert, saying goodbye. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.